So many celebrities and so on, people who are so depressed. Even though the world is their fan, they've got 100 million followers and so on, and yet they are depressed, they are taking medication and they can't go to sleep without taking a sleeping pill, and they have a series of broken relationships and what have you. Why? They have everything one could possibly imagine. They've got wealth, they've got fame, they've got security, safety in their lives, they've got assets, they've even got beautiful people in their lives. And yet, what is missing? Just this thing. That empathy towards greater cause is missing. Who is a true yogi? Somebody who sees others' pain and sorrow with the same intensity or fervor as he or she would see their own. If I think somebody's grief is not grief enough, somebody's pain is not painful enough, somebody's sorrow is misplaced, that means I've got it all wrong. That means all the external things or even internal things that I'm trying to do, I have really not understood the essence of it all. Somebody who's a yogi, Krishna says, is deeply internalized, if I may use a term. Such a person has actually turned inward. When we are not inward, we are forever running after external things, most notably fame. It is so ingrained in people to be known well, that people should think well of me. Not necessarily that a lot of people should know me, but everybody should speak well of me. It is so deeply ingrained that it is often the greatest hurdle on the path of self-realization. In Hyderabad, there was a Sufi saint. I don't recall his name now. And he used to keep a woman, a very grumpy woman, who was very much against this saint. So anybody who would visit this Sufi fakir, before they could even go there, she would say all kinds of negative and bad things about the saint. Because everybody has an idea of how a saint should be, how he should behave, how he should live, and so on. So everybody has an idea. And you would only connect with the kind of saint who aligns with your thinking. It's natural. And this woman would keep on saying negative things about the saint. More than 95% of the people would hear such things. Most things people can ignore. When somebody says, such and such monk or saint or fakir is a very angry man, people say, no problem. He takes a lot of money, okay. He's very commercial, no problem. And he's very arrogant, oh, maybe he's enlightened. And and so on, all kinds of bad things. But the moment they say, but we don't think he's a man of good character. And as I spoke earlier once, that in our extremely limited definition, we almost always base the entire gamut of one's character is based on their sexual conduct. It's such a narrow and limited and false definition of what character is. So as soon as they say, oh, but he is not a man of good character, people immediately feel a little jittery and they feel a little gobsmacked. Should I not? Can I trust this man? So she would say similar things. Hearing that, 95% of the people would turn away. And only 5 would go. And for years, people did not know that it was he who had planted that woman there. It was all a carefully crafted strategy to filter out those who just came looking for things he said I could not provide. He said the 95% of the people who have turned away came here looking for something they would not get. And they would eventually turn away anyway. So it's better I reduce my own workload and filter out those people. And it's a true story. Hazrat Inayat Khan narrated it first. So somebody who's a yogi, somebody who is awakened, their focus almost always in everything that they do is on the quality, not the quantity. Quantity is insignificant then. It's not as relevant. The quality has to be there. You do japa, it has to be done in a quality fashion. You meditate, you eat, you live, whatever you do, if a basic sense of quality is missing, you would not really enjoy much at all. Forget growth altogether. And you'll end up growing the wrong way. Each chapter of growth will bring more sorrow. So many celebrities and so on, people who are so depressed, even though the world is their fan, they've got 100 million followers and so on, and yet they're depressed, they're taking medication and they can't go to sleep without taking a sleeping pill, and they have a series of broken relationships and what have you. Why? They have everything one could possibly imagine. They've got wealth, they've got fame, they've got security, safety in their lives, they've got assets, they've even got beautiful people in their lives. And yet, what is missing? Just this thing. That empathy towards greater cause is missing. That my sorrow somehow is more painful than yours. Hamara khoon khoon, aapka khoon pani. When this comes, once somebody asked Buddha, you talk about ignorance. You talk about avidya, which is ignorance. You say the cause of suffering is ignorance. Can you really explain it to me? What is ignorance? Can you demonstrate? Can you illustrate? Can you give me any tangible example in the world that would really help me understand what ignorance is? Because if I understand, I can remove it. If I don't understand, I might be removing all the other things. But if I get a handle on it, I can then take care of my ignorance and be happy and be as peaceful and as blissful as you are. And Buddha said, it's not very hard. I will tell you the story of a man. There was this man. One time, he was walking on an unknown path in the mountains. New path. He had never been there before. It had just rained whole day. The roads were, the pavement were slippery. And it was, the night was descending. It was dusk already. Twilight was there. And he knew he was walking next to a huge gorge. And just then, he slipped. Just then, he slipped. And as he slipped, he just came scrambling down various bushes and shrubs and what have you. And then, by a sheer stroke of luck, he managed to grab a branch. And on that branch, as he held on to it for his life practically, all night he prayed, "Oh God, please help me." It was night. He could not see anything down. It was just absolute darkness. "Please save me." And whole night he was very angry at God and very angry at everything, the whole world. And he was waiting that the morning would come. Maybe somebody would be passing by. They would hear his call for help and they would rescue this person. They would save this person. Whole night, a billion gazillion thoughts went through his head of fear, of anger, of everything negative you can imagine. At times of hope as well. And he desperately was looking up, waiting for the morning, waiting to hear somebody's footsteps so he could call, "Please save me." And when the morning came, as he could see down, people from the top came and they said, "Look, you're safe, just let go. Just let go. We'll come get you, but you won't fall. Don't worry, just let go." And his hands were now absolutely frozen, and he could not hold anymore anyway. As the grip loosened and he fell down, he realized he was only 2 feet up from the ground. Whole night, he held on to that branch, thinking I was 300-400 feet somewhere in the air. But he was actually nearly at the ground anyway. Just 2 feet up. There was a little block of land where he would have landed. And Buddha said, as soon as he landed safe, as soon as he realized I was only a couple of feet away, this whole night I'd been up here very safe. I could have let go the night before, and the night itself. He said, all his anger vanished. All his complaints vanished. They disappeared. Because when he could see how close he was to his goal, as long as there was ignorance, where he thought he was hanging on to some branch, and the moment he would let go, he would fall a few hundred meters or feet down, and he would be absolutely, crushed or be dead. But when he let go, he realized he was actually just there, right at the bottom. That all the feelings he had throughout the night, they all disappeared. And that's what awakening does. When we are ignorant, we are holding on to things, thinking if I let go of this thing, I am going to just die. But sometimes you just have to wait. You have to wait for the light to emerge on the horizon of your consciousness. You just have to wait for that sunlight. You've just got to sometimes be patient and let the dark night of the soul pass. Because when light comes and ignorance goes away, that moment your view of the world will change completely. And then it doesn't matter where you stand, because you're safe inside you. Mullah Nasruddin had this friend, and he would always take something from Mullah on one pretext or the other, but never give anything in return. And Mullah decided one day, I am going to take something from this guy. He's got to give me something back. And he was carrying a beautiful pen, his friend. Mullah said, Abdul, this is a great pen. Can I see it? He says, right, it's beautiful. Can I have it? Maybe just a little token of your love or remembrance. Abdul said, I'd love to give it to you, but see here, my name is engraved on it. It says Abdul. So it's of no use to you. Mullah said, don't worry. I will get from engraved in front of your name. I'll just say from Abdul. And I'll be able to use it. Don't worry. I'd like to take this pen. When you are happy, and happiness is an art, it's a skill. When you are happy, when you are content, contentment is a philosophy. It's something you subscribe to. When you're happy and you're content, no matter how much against the tides are, you would turn them in your favor. You would know exactly when to enter the wave so you may surf it, as opposed to coming out all frazzled with salty water in your mouth and nose and everything else. But if you know how to surf the wave, it becomes a great adventure. And the waves of life and circumstances and different situations, learn to surf them. Because if you stand on the beach and you keep on complaining, I don't want these waves, nobody's listening to you. You know that. As long as you're standing in front of the gigantic existence of the ocean, that grandness, if you want to enjoy that grandeur, that marvelous spectacle that would really make you feel amazing inside you, you've got to learn to handle the waves. Or you go lock yourselves in a room and cry over your fate. Either way, the truth is, the world couldn't care less. If you're happy, people will be happy with you. If you're sad, you'll be sad on your own. It's a choice. Everybody has something to be grateful for, to be happy about. Focus on that, because that's what a yogi does.